Senator Bongo, Representative Benvenido Abante Jr., the Bible Mode International Secretary General Bishop Ruben Abante, and the Alliance of Baptist Councils and Baptist Church Leaders in the Philippines, other distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I will read a prepared speech, just 2 pages. Not enough time for me to express personally what is in my heart. I would propose to read the written speech to give justice to the ladies of my staff who prepared this. For after all, this is a toil for today's event. Express my heartfelt congratulations to all the members of the Baptist churches across the country for making the 120th year of your ministry. Today, I join you in thanksgiving for the success of the church community's mission to spread God's message of love, hope, faith throughout the archipelago. Indeed, the impact you have made within your respective ministries for a fruitful Christian way of life among Filipinos. Let me acknowledge your significant contributions to society and your valuable efforts in maintaining lasting peace in the country. By always seeking to express God's love in the pursuit of justice, righteousness and governance, progress and prosperity for all Filipinos, you have enabled our people to see the fulfillment of the purpose in your fellowship. As we journey on the dynamic path towards nation building, I trust that you will continue to join us in praying for good leaders who will embody Christian values and ideas in governance. Rest assured that we in government are committed to the upholding of human dignity and welfare, and we look forward to the continuing support of the Baptists of the Philippines in all endeavors. I likewise hope and pray that will you remain a vibrant, inclusive, and growing church community that is relentless in serving our people, especially those who are most in need. May your enthusiasm in proclaiming the good news of salvation not only touch our people's lives, but also stir transformative change within them. With the adversaries we are facing both here and abroad, we are called now more than ever to stand together in faith, prayer, and unity. Let us therefore work with renewed fervor and hope in bringing. Do not proclaim myself as the most righteous Filipino. Faults are to be spoken. Me, I have many faults, plenty along the way in my journey through life. 74 years of existence have taught me almost everything. Well, Alex is here. He has the body, the entity that takes care of the intelligence community in the Philippines. He is a top honzo. Banak is also a good police officer. like to thank you for being here with me. Alam, you know, I said I may not be really the charging warrior in the governance of my country. I said faults many, but it had nothing to do. The issue was never money. When I've been mayor for 23 years in Davao, and what I've learned is what I've learned from my father. And 12 years, when Davao was only one, there was no Davao del Norte, del Sur Oriental, Cumbal Valley, what they call now the Davao. My father was just an ordinary man. He was a lawyer. Not a brilliant man, but maybe a good one. That's why my standard in my who are corrupt. Most of the military men, General Agudo, Monteagudo was assigned in Davao. At kayong mga taga Davao, you know that I said, for all the faults that I have committed that made me mayor in 88. And they were with me when I became president. They worked very hard during the presidency. And I want, as we are wont to do, Filipinos, we pay our debts. Mahalaga sa atin yan, that toward for cabinet supposed to end my term in about a few months from now. But there was this incident where I was in Davao and I have been reading and hearing the news about no water in Manila, both east and west. And so I was making calls, and somebody told me in strict confidence that it is not true, there's no water. There was no water for 2 weeks. People were scrambling to get a few drops. And when I was informed that there was water, I really lost my patience. My mouth for cuss words. But I said, I will be flying tomorrow there in Manila. If I do not see water flowing from the faucets from everywhere, I'm going to line you up and slap each and every one of you. And you must know that I was doing it almost every day in Davao when I was mayor, trying to discipline a city. And you can go to Davao now and see for yourself. It's good, it's clean, people are behaved, very courteous. Not because they feared somebody, but because all the 23 years I was instilling discipline and all other good things that come in a man's life. And Davao City now, it is the most viable and still today #1 in investments. And Davao has a local business going on very vibrant. Have been able to raise a sizable number of people. And that is really what I was going for, to up the middle class, to push it up. So that's how I did it. But here in Manila, because of that water raw cost, I began to play in my gray matter between the ears. Because why is this like this? And so I'm telling you now that you know the imponderables of life. If I do not make it to the finish line, this is really my message to each and every Filipino. You know, all those times, many years, and even during my time, we're always looking for the big fish, the corrupt people. And they would say, who gets prosecuted? The poor guy. Who gets arrested? Well, one of no consequence at all, or arresting the wrong persons. Well, you know how hard it is. I've been a prosecutor. That was what I was when I ran for the mayorship before being an OIC for 1 year. In all of my life, I was prosecuting cases in court. And so there was this statement of a statement that ordered our government to pay $7 million. And previously, I was informed that we paid $3 million. I said, what is this? And it turned out that in a contract, if the distributors of water, concessionaires, they distribute water, Ayala on the west, Pangilinan on the west, or baka magbaliktad lang. But still, in that contract, which was hidden from the Filipinos in 1997, there was this provision, kono, allegedly that I have to pay them for the losses that they incurred while waiting for the approval of the price increase. Not the price, the rates of water. And so in the meantime that the regulator and MWSS were pondering on it, looking at it, every day that they would lose in millions were added to the bill that we are supposed to pay. In other words, we pay for their losses. And so, when the bill was submitted to me, I said, you know, what is this? Tell them, yeah, I said, I mean, there's enough payment coming their way. And so I began to scrutinize the contract. And Harry is here. He will be one of the lawyers who they would be facing, maybe in court, because in the contract, they were the ones, the concessionaires, yung distributors, were allowed, the entity only allowed to authorize to increase the rates without the participation of any government entity except the regulator, which is or was, or the office, inutil. Ganon talaga. It was inutility. I am saying this, I said, because if I do not reach the finish line, for one reason or another, after this I am flying home. I have to see my family. Do not forget this case. Kasi dito, it's the blood of the Filipino, the sweat of the Filipino that made them very, very rich. Another provision is that the corporate income tax, they were allowed to pass it on to the consumers. Kaya talaga, you know, when I say epithets and cuss words, they have really a meaning. Talagang galit ako sa... Sabi ko nga kung nakakaharap ko lang kayo, pinagsasampal ko na kayo. And I really do it to this day. Nang bubugbog talaga ako ng tao. I will not tell you, but plenty. All wrongdoings that would catch my attention, that has a significance, I call them to. I ask the PSG. And if you are really fond of extorting and you love money, one time I said, I don't carry money except the handkerchief and the balda pastil. And the one that I was eating, when my name was called this time to talk, ang isa pa doon, at yung the term of the contract is 2037. And in that contract executed in 1997, meron doon, in your bills, tignan ninyo, there is an expense which says, pinaganda lang nila, make it more a high-faluting thing, environmental enhancement. And we were paying, I don't know, you might want to, I do not pay the bills, it's my wife, and in my house there across the, I stay in the camp near the camp of the military. I do not stay there in that house. It gives me not really, hindi naman ako natatakot. You know, if you believe in God, you're not up to this. Kasi kung natulog ako minsan doon, sabi ko, huwag mo akong istorbohin dito kay marami akong problema. Putang ina, sipain talaga kita. And if you are a girl ghost, well, if it is to my liking, I will just embrace a ghost and know the difference between a real ghost and a real woman. So, yun ang they have been collecting water treatment by way of, sabi nila, environmental enhancement. Since 1957, nasa bill na natin yan. Hanggang ngayon, ilagay doon nila dyan sa Harrison that they're going to build a water treatment facility before bitawan mo sa Pasig. Until now, wala. So they have been collecting money from the people. Almost trillions na yan ba yan? If that is not plunder, what is it? If it is not large staffa, fraud, then what is it? Kaya ito, wag ninyong bitawan kung sakali hindi talaga ako aabot. If I'm not around anymore, do not forget this. Kasi every time, anytime, they would always itong mga opposition. So where's the big fish? Bakit maliit lang? With all the sarcasm. O ito, binigay ko na sa inyo, putang ina, mas malaki pa sa... Ito na. Ito na. Ayala Pangilinan. That I've been telling you in the campaign. Corruption. What's happening down in the customs and there is just pittance. The big corruptions are the families, the ruling elite since the Spaniards. Sila yun, and they were awarded so many tract of lands. Yung Bacolod, pati yung, the feudal system, and until now is really very almost vicious. Yung may sugar plantations, because that were the large tracts of lands given by the Spanish government to the selected and rich people. The favored ones, the insulares, the Spaniards who never went back or who were born here, they're called the insulares. Sila yan. So, ganun ang dito. And I could not, to you lawyers, I could not just fathom bakit ginawa nila yan sa Pilipino. Kasi if you have a copy of the contract and a copy of the anti-graft law and you put it side by side, all the provisions, the prohibited acts in the anti-graft law is there in the contract itself. So how come the lawyers of this republic allowed it to happen? And that is why I said Duterte is always ranting. Yes, true, because gives me a nightmare kung bakit, why this thing happened to the Philippines. So do not let go of this contract. I have a choice. I have a contract that was prepared, a draft, and submitted to them by this time. If they do not agree to it, fine. Okay, I will take over and nationalize the water resources. You do not accept it, I take over and I will charge you in court. If you accept it, fine, but there is no guarantee. I could never, I said, there are so many millions of Filipinos, one might just decide to bring a case against you. Yan ang hindi ko mapigilan. Tanggapin ninyo, then maybe have a compromise. But then, I would have to address to the nation, Duterte, there is, or there was, or there is, or was, and is a continuing crime until now. Why are you not prosecuting them? We thought that you are a fiscal. So, what gives? So that's my dilemma. Even if we renew the contract, there's always the duty of the executive department, especially the president, to see to it that crimes are prosecuted. So, yan ang problema nila. Hindi nila pirmahan, mag-take over ako, I'll charge them myself. Kung pirmahan nila, maybe I will just, no, I'll take it over. But there is no guarantee that I will not, or anybody, any Filipino, for that matter, would decide to file a case against them. But whatever it is, please keep track of the contract. I have prepared one that has been submitted to them. Pero it is a long process. I'll be out in a few months. Please do not abandon this case. Because I said, if you are looking for the biggest, it's really people who take advantage of their wealth and position. Sila yan eh. Those tracts of lands, Makati used to be swampland. They bought it or given it to them for free. Same with the donut and the Prietos. Yung Mailong dyan, they built commercial centers there without paying the government any single centavo for so many years because of their connection. Huwag ninyong bitawan yan kasi dugo ng Pilipino talaga yan. Huwag ninyong bitawan yan. Kung wala na ako, bahala na kayo. So those are the things that I have to tell you. Came here to exactly inform you of the state of but all others, you can relax. For our visitors, I see that you had a problem with the immigration. We cannot simply accommodate that number in just a jeep. I need, there's a lack of government guys who can receive the incoming, especially if the planes from different countries would arrive almost simultaneously. If you go to Naya or the Manila International Airport, every 2 minutes, may takeoff, may landing. That is how hard pressed are we in dealing with this. Pero ngayon, you use it, the electronic. If you go abroad, no need for the immigration. They are just to get the number and it will give you have passport. You just swipe in. That's all there is to it. Until now, I prohibit the customs from opening bags. Maybe for a reason, but generally I do not allow the inspection of bags anymore. Just like in Hong Kong, any other countries we can do. Anyway, if you try to spread away drugs, I will catch you. And I really do not know what I will do with you. The law enforcement is clear, they can arrest and they can prosecute. But me, if I'm the one there, there's always heaven and there is always hell. Make your choice. Talking about religion, I am not really up to it now. I'm sorry to tell you this because, I was studying in Ateneo, high school. Dominguez, he was the brightest until now. He's the finance secretary. And he's rich because he's bright. He owns Marco Polo, the brothers, two of them. Me, I finished high school in 7 years. So, I've never been an extraordinary. I'm just almost the ordinary man on the street. So I was almost 75. since grade 1, 75, 75. Until law school, it's 75. And my mother used to say, she was a teacher, Rodrigo, what is this? Is there no improvement that we can expect? I said, Ma, if I get 75, I go to the next grade. If I get 95, the same, I will go. So why do I have to study extra hours when a 75 you would get you everywhere? And true enough, yes. And even in college, instead of sometimes, you know, studying and suddenly the urge comes and your idiot fraternity brothers would look at you and say, so we decided to go down Ligarda, Minjola, in that corner. It's still there. Chilled beer. That is where we spent of my time studying the art of drinking. Well, when I became president, I can really say that the presidency is a gift from God. Why it's given to you? I was not given a Chinaman's chance to win the election. Maski kayo, alam ninyo. Well, somebody will baka. I was always number 4 in the ratings. So nobody said, mahirap. But I just campaigned and went to the provinces with the limited money and had breakfast dinner with the I won the election. People voted for me, not the military or police. But I like the way they behave, especially the bright ones. Pagka sinabi mo, you do this, they will do it. I told Anyo and Simato, do it in 6 months. And they did. And everything. Now, the problem now with, you must know, Manila Bay could never be improved by Simato. All he can do is to reduce the contamination. Why? Because there is no water treatment. Until now, all the wastewater are blown every day to the Manila Bay. And that job was supposed to be done by the one who got the contract of water, sewer, and sewerage, which is the two companies. Now, they're having sleepless nights. You would notice that you can't hardly hear a whimper from them. And every time that, and even Ayala would write the unthinkable of writing an apology and signing it. I have nothing against you personally, but you have to explain to the Filipino people why you did it. Yan ang ano ko. Just tell the Filipino, bakit mo ginawa itong putang inan to? That's what pisses me. Why? Because the violations, I said, contained in the anti-graft and corrupt practices are all there. And so the lawyers of government, everybody's trying to be a minimalist. They're trying to explain their role as minimal. But I said, even if we renew the contract or not, the people should know kung sino yung mga Pilipino. And I will reveal all of them. I'm just trying to finish I will reveal who are they so that you can ask them, including the Ayala and Pangilinan, bakit mo ginawa sa amin yan? Bigyan mo ako ng sagot, putang, pag hindi babarilin ko yung bayag mo, putang. Pardon that's what I am. And to end, I said, I am not even with quarrel with even in high school at Ateneo. I'd like you to know that we were really molested. All of us, you look into your internet, go to Harvey Falby or Paul Falby. She's the priest who was charged in LA, and the parish had studied in Ateneo. Mayroon dito. Di ba Friday, it's always communion, and there's always a mass, and communion is mandatory. Now, while we were confessing our sins, he was also grouping us there down. And I'm telling you now, as a government worker, totoo yan. So, from there on, wala ako. So what I did was, Abu Ben Adem, you must know that, there's in high school there is a poem, Abu Ben Adem. He awoke one night in a blinding flash of light, and an apparition of an angel he saw. And so he was the angel. What brought thy presence here? No, the angel, I'm just visiting you. And Abu bin Adam said, what's the tablet that you are carrying? And the angel replied to Abu bin Adam, these are this is a list of the men who love God. Sabi and Abu bin Adam said, right, is my name in that list? And the angel looked at the list and said, no, your name is not here. And he said, do you have a list of those who love their fellow men? And the angel said, no, we have only one list. Sorry. And so, when the angel disappeared, Abu bin Adam was a little bit sad that his name was not in the list of those who love God. When the following night, again the angel appeared before Abu bin Adam, and he awoke still with a brilliant light, and he saw the angel again. And the angel said, why thou hast come to us? The angel said, no, just to do what? And you still have the list? Yes. About those who love God? Yes. And maybe you can add me even in the last list. And the angel said, nay. He looked at the list, Abu, and when he looked at it, he was number one, those who love God. And said, my name is there. Yes, you are now in the list of those who love truly God. And he said, well, I will just continue to serve my fellow men. For after all, it's the same. That's what I am. If this idiot bishops here, they are, I do not hide my contempt. They're a bunch of, it's very hard to secure a copy. But if you get one, read it. The popes, plural. Read it, and you will puke. There's the chapter there where a pope had an incestuous relation with their daughter, and they programmed the son to become a pope. And actually, he became a pope. And that is how, by that alone, I have, I've lost my, everything. So when we quarreled openly, I bullshitted them. Putang ina kayo ma. And I think I'm the first politician who spoke against the church. And when you know what? He said, okay. He said, and there was a time during the campaign. This is the last, it's not a joke, but it's an episode of my life. I was scheduled to be proclaimed in Century Park. I got out of the hotel, holiday. I forgot to, relieve myself. When the car came, I just rode on it. And it took me almost 4 hours to negotiate because they were all closing the streets because the Pope was here. So the urge to relieve, uh, since I could not do it outside, I just told the security that, I have to do it here. You just clean it up. Because talagang naihi na mapuputok na yung ano ko eh. Sabi ko dito na lang. So when I arrived, so they were almost clapping a sigh of relief. Ay, dumating talaga the ladies. And when I began my speech, I said, I'm late because, all of the streets, the Dewey Boulevard was closed. Putang inang Pope nito, ayaw pang umuwi eh. Idol, tang ina itong Pope na ito. Well, Andrea Domingo, one of them, with the other lady said, she is my supporter. Wala na, Mayor, talo na tayo. Bakit mo naman pinutang ina si Pope? Sabi ko, naihi ako tapos 5 oras ako hanggang dumating dito. Kaya sabi ko, now, no way that I will close the cross streets and the boulevard. Sabi ko, ayaw ko. Huwag ninyong gawain yung basta abri na lang yan. One lane will do, or you can have the security, the hazards, but no closing of. Wala talaga. Panahon ko, no closing of the one lane maybe. Pero wala yung sara-sara. So, hindi ako maniwala na because after that, sinabi ko, putang inang Pope nito, ayaw pang umuwi. Then, when the results of the election came, I got 6 million over the next. And so, maybe it's good to bullshit the bishops. It might make you win. Take it from my experience. Until now. But they have, I cannot tell you why, but they are now ordered to, there's I cannot tell you which was it's supposed to be in confidence. Pero you'd notice that they are no longer complaining. Even if we say bullshit, they don't respond anymore. That is how to win the war against the Catholic Church. All you have to do is say, putang ina ninyo, panalo ka na. Well, anyway, I've taken much of your time, ladies and gentlemen. I'm very happy. I'm very happy that I'm here because I have this deep and abiding faith in God. You see me in Holo, you see me in going to war in Marawi. Well, it's not about bravery. It's about faith in God. So, and one of my helicopters got hit because I stayed there until night time and I fly, so it's very, one of my choppers got a hole in the, but then I said, I've always said, this universal thing, it's controlled. It cannot be possible without God. If you watch the billions and millions and billions of stars, even how big the space is, the fact that we survived almost 4.5 billion years, God must have said that His creation must be there. Almost 5 billion, and nothing happened except for the small craters in Siberia and Yucatan, I think. That is all. I hope that some little meteorite will hit all the bishops in the head. Something is wrong with them. Because they started to fight. And they told me that I am a heretic. I said, when I criticize you, I do not become a heretic. That is, we are not in the medieval times, God damn it, I will say to shut up. When I criticize, it's because you are doing it. You are impregnating so many women. You are even killing women. And said, you shut up because you are a womanizer. Like me, but I'm retired. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. And now may we call on Congressman Bishop Bienvenido Benny Abante Jr. to lead the pray-over for the President. Let us all stand as our baptism